Did you ever notice that nobody talks about the ugly side when it comes to competing in the Pokemon World Championships? My tournament experience of competing there was not the most glamorous thing, was not a fairy tale, and it was just not a YouTube worthy experience. But it was my first time, and it was an insane journey getting there. But competing in this tournament was unlike anything I've ever competed in. This is my spectator pass, and I competed for the first time in the Pokemon VGC World Championships, being one of the top 75 players representing my home continent and region of North America. It was a crazy time, and in this video, I want to go over the 5 main parts that are the ugly side of Worlds. And really, I'm making this video to show you what it's like and what I learned, because if I ever go back, which the plan is to go back this next season, I'm going to come back and be better, because I learned so much, and it was honestly so shocking to see what was going to be going down. I don't want to waste any more of your time. And the very first thing I want to talk about, how it was way harder than I thought. Yeah, you guys are going to say, well, Darsh, why do you think it was easy? Okay, I never said it was easy, but I thought it was going to be easier. Let me put it into context for you. This year, in my 5 tournaments that I went to, 4 regionals, 1 international, I made 4 day 2s. I made 2 top 8s. I played and beat multiple world champions, the GOAT of all time, and my record in day 2 against top players was actually a winning record. Also, the champion of Toronto, Wolfie VGC, he had 2 losses. I was one of those 2 losses. Federico Camporesi, the champion of NAIC, he had 2 losses. I was one of those losses. My loss in Milwaukee in top 8 was to the eventual champion. Like, I was beating some of the best players in the world. The player who finished 2nd in this year's World Championships, James Evans, I beat him at a local tournament in the finals. So, in my mind, I was like, I could beat the top players in the world. I've been doing that. And the first round of the World Championships was no different, where I beat Francesco Piopero, arguably a top 3 player in the world, and by the official ELO builder, before some of it was taken down, he was number 2 at the time, after NAIC. He was coming off of a top 8 performance there, and that was my round 1 pairing, and I beat him. But it was still so much harder than I thought. Anytime there was a wrong turn that went against you, it could feel game losing. Not even that, one shred of bad luck could make you lose entire sets. And that's what happened to me. But the actual gameplay wasn't just hard, it was the atmosphere. Always sitting across the world's best, so many people watching, and for me, people even trying to taunt you while you were playing because they wanted their friend to win, or their brother in some cases. And it was an insane experience. It was harder. Like, there were turns where, obviously bad luck happens, and I'll get to that later, but you are playing against the best players. Every turn is super optimally played. All the teams are really strong, and you have to really get every turn right. It was harder. Like, I thought I would get at least a couple of wins before I was eliminated. I got 1 win. You're saying, bruh, I know. I wish I could have done a better job myself. Trust me, you don't have to tell me. But I won my first round. I was 1-0. Then I finished 1-3 before I ghosted my last round so my other opponent can get a win. I finished 1-3, and then I dropped. It was humbling, and honestly, it was hard. I was sitting across from the best players I played against 4 players from 4 different countries, and they all had their own style. They all had their own play. They all had their own luck. But it was much harder than any of my day 2s, any of my top cuts, even though I thought I played very well. Because one bad moment of luck can transform your entire tournament. That happened to me not once, but twice. And I'll get to that. But the second thing that was the ugly side of the World Championships was that I felt uncomfortable a lot. You're going to ask, Darsh, you're all about that McFree mentality. You always have that confidence, that moxie. And I do. I am maybe one of the most confident players in this game because I'm a passionate player. If you guys watch the NBA, I am like the Anthony Edwards of Pokemon. Everyone, there's etiquette, there's, politeness, imagine Anthony Edwards playing chess. That's how I play Pokemon. Every time I get a winning turn, I'm pounding my chest. I'm hyped, I'm locked in, I'm feeling good. And I have said, if I can beat Wolf Glick, I can beat anyone. And that's what happened, right? But I was uncomfortable. There were so many more people watching me. And one moment, my family came. my parents, I don't know a lot of you who play this game, but it's hard to get people to support you when you're spending a lot of money to travel the world and play this game. My parents are immigrants, and there's no difference there. When I first started playing, they were very against it. Until I made Worlds, my mom was maybe still against it. And my parents would, not let me go. They would make me feel bad about my spending decisions, all of this. Fast forward a couple of years, I'm so blessed to say that now they support me. And they came to the World Championships. They were wearing my shirts. To me, that was emotional in a good way, but it also added some pressure. So I had them watching me. I had a lot of other fans, and shout out to the McFree Mafia who showed up and gave me some love and support. Thank you. I had fans watching me, but one thing that was very uncomfortable in my opinion was my opponents' fans watching me. There was one instance where I was literally playing against a player, and his brother, which I found out, would literally, let's say I got a critical hit, I would start pounding my chest. I'd be like, yeah, because I'm hyped. Well, I actually never got a critical hit. Every time I won the game or got a good read right, I would be like, yeah. I was looking at my Switch and I was like, ah. I was hyped. I'm allowed to enjoy myself when I'm playing the game. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You don't have to be quiet and, all that stuff when you play. Celebrate. When you get a good turn right, you see Ash Ketchum in the anime when he gets a critical hit or a KO? Do you think he ever goes, oh, sorry I killed your Pokemon. Sorry I read you right? No. He's like, yeah, let's go. I'm the same way. So I was doing that to my Switch, to my screen, not looking at my opponent. This opponent's friends ducked to my eye level and were mocking me from behind the gate. So imagine I'm here, and imagine they're here. Their people would duck below and mock me, and they do the same thing back to me. They'd be like, it was while I was playing. And then keep in mind, after I was eliminated, the first person who found me was that person trying to tell me that my antics were disrespectful. With my family around, after I was eliminated from it was a really uncomfortable experience. And what I can say is that it comes with the theater, guys. Like, as much as it made me uncomfortable, it's part of the drama, right? If you're an NFL player, if you're an NBA player, if you're a FIFA World Soccer star, there's gonna be people that don't want you there. You're gonna have enemies, people trash talking. It's the name of the game. And that one player who did that, the best part was that I beat my opponent when that was happening. That was my only win. And my opponent was very respectful, but it was the friends that were doing it wrong. And the pressure of my family being there, being taunted live and on Twitter, it was a lot. Cameras around, the actual venue was the most beautiful thing. They turned this Anaheim Convention Center, the World Championships were held in Anaheim, into a full-on Pokemon campus almost. Every flag, there was things hanging from the ceiling. There were museum exhibits in the venue. It was packed. And there was only ever a few moments where I was ever uncomfortable playing the game. One was this World Championships. One was my first ever stream set, Game 3, and my first ever Day 2. Those were a couple of moments where and my first ever regional as well, where I was very uncomfortable. But all I can say is I learned from it. I'm going to be ready next time. But yeah, really, truly, it's a pressure cooker. It's a cauldron of flames when you go to the World Championships. But honestly, I love it. I'm a huge fan. The third thing I want to say is that compromise is real. What do I mean by this? Part of me, I'm a really busy person, right? And I made the Pokemon World Championships following this roadmap that I made. If you want this roadmap, it's 11 pages long that I hand wrote, and I had someone help me design it where, 11 pages long here. If you want it, comment roadmap, and I'll send it to you for free. It's like 11 pages, interactive, whatever. If you want it, let me know. But I followed my roadmap because I'm a busy guy, right? I have a family. I have, a girlfriend. I make content. I do a private coaching community. I, live my life. I have a full-time job, 8 to 6 o'clock every single day at a startup. Like, my life is very busy. So one compromise I had to make was, I had to play the game in the hours that I could. I could not play 100 hours a week. I could not play 40 hours a week. I was very comfortable playing between 5 and 10 hours a week, okay? And the compromise that comes with that is that I cannot learn a new team fast enough. My team was good, but I had to stick one compromise. I had to stick with my team and practice within a lot of time I have. I wish time was unlimited. Trust me, I do. But the compromise showed in my results. Again, even though there was some really bad luck that I almost want to throw up talking about, compromise is a real part of this game. Like, the player who won, Giovanni Siski, he said himself, he's been playing this game for almost 10 years, I think 7, and he plays all the time. Like, he committed his being to this game. And that's credit to him. He's an amazing player. But I had to make the compromise of, I had to use my tools and I had to use my time the best way I could. And to expect myself to outperform some of these players, it was tough. And it worked for me at regionals, worked for me at internationals, it worked for me in round 1. But I think I felt like I had to make that compromise in some way, right? Bringing in my family means that it's going to be more fun of an emotional experience, but it also might compromise my play, right? And I think if I had more time, I could have done better. I could have maybe tried to build a new team, tried to do something a little bit differently. Do I regret anything? No. But what I will say is there's compromises that you have to make, right? You can't, if you bring your family, you can't live with friends. If you're competing, you only have 10 hours a week, you're gonna have to use the same team. If you are, being the only one in your friend group to go to Worlds, you're compromising maybe better prep. There's a lot of compromise you're making, but what I will say is that it's so worth it. One trend of this video is these are the harsh truths. I'm sharing with you the ugly side of the World Championships. But this is because I'm sharing this so I can learn myself, but that you can learn too. You can be ready, because I want to make you guys qualify for the first time or the second time. For me, I go through these hardships so I can teach them to you, right? Do I wish I went 1-3? No. But do I wish I learned all of these moments so that way when you go there, you don't have to? Yes. So that's how I feel about this. And yeah, again, if you want to know how I did it, just comment roadmap and I'll send you this guide. It's all online. You can use it online. But if you want to print it out like me, you can. The fourth brutal truth, getting a little bit erased here, is that it's the moments that win. To win these matches, it comes down to moments. And my round 1, I was playing against a really good Italian player with a Terrapagos Miraidon team with iron treads and whatnot. And I made my moments where I terrestrialized correctly. I locked into the right moves on choice packs. I made some hard reads. And those moments won me the match. But also, certain moments lost me matches. Like in game 1, it was a 50-50 in one of my matches where if I close combat Incineroar or do I final gambit Miraidon, either can Terra or switch into Lunala, right? So I got the wrong play. I final gambited Miraidon and Lunala came in and I lost that match. That's a skill, moment that made me lose that game. But also, bad luck can happen. I don't know the math here. If someone can comment this down for me. In a game 3, on turn 2, my Iron Hand was at half health. My Calyrex was at full health. I have fake out pressure or I swapped in Iron Hand, so I have fake out pressure. And then I have my Calyrex as well. I know there's no way he can double KO any of my Pokemon because of the bulk that I have. And his Miraidon was -2 health. I say moments win you games. Moments also lose you games, because what happened next? His -2 Miraidon's Draco Meteor crit my Iron Hands and killed it. My Iron Hands was also faster than 87% of Incineroar. I was 92 speed. So then his Incineroar gets to go next. So not only did he hit Draco Meteor, -2, which I would have lived, he crit me. And then his Flare Blitz from Incineroar crit my Miraidon. So we had to, crit my Calyrex Ice. So he had to have hit Draco Meteor, crit Draco Meteor, crit Flare Blitz. And that's under 1% chance. And that moment happened in turn 2 of game 3. And it's like, it's moments, right? And my point of the World Championships is that if you don't always play every turn the best, you open yourself up for these moments to happen. And it's hard because there's nothing you can do except play better in previous games, which obviously is that in itself, because I lost game 1 badly. I won game 2 dominantly. And my line in game 3 was a very good plan that I had. And as long as that didn't happen, I was going to win, in my opinion. Or at least play a well thought out match. But it is what it is. And it's hard, right? And it's a hard thing. Even talking about it drives me crazy, because I got to compete in the World Championships and I lost a game on a double critical hit. Like, what is happening? But that's moments, right? And if you look at the finals of James Evans versus Giovanni Siski, it comes down to that Fluttermane, Terra Stellar, that one Geo, Worlds. But if James maybe Terra Waters or goes for Sucker Punch earlier, he can win. The whole World Championships comes down to moments because it's a lot more pressurized, and every single mistake, every single decision has insane consequences, and that's what I experienced myself. So that's number 4. And the last thing I want to talk about, it's funny how Erased always, it is not always fair. The game's not always fair. And you heard me talk about that, how I lost my game 3. And in game 2, the same thing happened. I locked up my end game. There was no way I lose unless my Miraidon and Trick Room gets special attack dropped on Moonblast from Lunala. And that's what happened. And I lost that game in game 3 on the final turns. And it's not always fair. But that's why we love this game, right? Because think about being in the other player's position. I wish that could be me who got lucky. And sometimes it is me. I use Thunderwave all the time, so I know about a little thing about luck. But the way I look at this game is that, you know, if there was no variance, would it be Pokemon? I don't know. But the cool thing about it is that certain things can happen at any moment, and it's not always fair. Someone has to win and someone has to lose. Someone can play better the whole game and get one turn wrong and lose. But someone can also play better, can play worse the whole game, get lucky one turn and win. And again, you're gonna say, well, Darsh, that doesn't make me want to play, but that's the beauty of Pokemon, right? Like, that's the beauty of it, is that there's 90% skill, but there is 10% luck. And in my situation, on my first World Championships, I got the short end of the stick. And I got unlucky twice in game 3s that could literally have won me the match. But I didn't get it. And that's okay, because I'm not complaining that it happened. I'm acknowledging that it's a reality. And to win, you got to be a little bit lucky, right? That's the nature of almost anything in life. To win a sports betting parlay, to win the lottery, to almost get a job and outcompete your opponents that you're interviewing with. Whatever it is, you have to get a little bit lucky, and it's not always fair, right? You know, even life. Some people are born with a lot of tougher physical conditions or a harder family life, and some people are born in better off situations. You're not hating on either side, but it's part of the game of life. This is the game of Pokemon, and it's what I experienced. And what I will say is that it was the most amazing experience of my life. The highs were so high. When I beat my round 1 player, after he's one of the top 3 players arguably in the moment in the world, and then his brother talking trash to me and then still beating him in my round 1, my first ever match at Worlds with everyone watching us, that is one of my favorite memories I will never forget. But the downside is that I lost rounds 2 and 3. And I thought I could have been 3-0 based on my play, but I was 1-2 based on some luck. And it's hard, right? My family came out to support me, and we got a hotel through Sunday. I was out Friday by 1 p.m. So this is what my advice to you is, that it is worth it. I have been able to bring my family wearing my shirts across the country to watch me play my childhood video game against the best players in the world. As someone who has a full-time job, has a girlfriend, no sponsorships, makes content, and just truly wants to have a good time. And I was on the stage around all of these people. I was the imposter among us. I don't have an esport. I've never won a trophy, but I was there with all of them. I earned that without committing 10 hours a week over that. So why do I say this? It's because I believe that you can do it too. And these are all the harsh truths, but there are amazing benefits to this game as well, right? There's an amazing side to this game that we love. So I recommend all of you go for it at least once. At least once. And I'm proud because I launched my coaching community yesterday for 15 people for this next VGC season for a month. It sold out in 13 hours at a pretty premium price. And that tells me that you guys care about this. And again, for free, I make these videos. For free, I want you to watch this roadmap. And I made a video about it. I'll link afterward. But I want you guys to make your goals come true. Because as a busy guy who has been playing this game for 5 years and never lifted a trophy, never made finals, in the last 6 months, not only did I play on stream, beat the GOAT, travel the world, but I got to play in the Pokemon World Championships, sitting around the best people around the world from every country. And if I can do that, I know you can do that too. So again, if you want to watch my video breaking down how I can do this and how you can do this, watch this video. And if you want a 30-day challenge on how you can evolve in 30 days, watch this video. I appreciate you guys. It's been Dark Type Darsh. Let's stay McFree out here. I'll see you guys later. Peace and good night.